Parabhen, welcome. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much,
for
Mike.
want of a better word.
Or Livo.
Or whatever. So, I think the first time I bumped into you was in a, I say a dressing room, but it weren't. It was probably just some sweaty rugby changing room in a club that's now demolished, the Widnes ICI Recreation Club.
Ah, the wreck.
Yeah, gone.
Yes.
And it was wrecked all day, and I think you'd have been with Pete Bentham and the Dinner Ladies. And I remember us talking about DJ Dange Mouse and the Grey album.
Ah,
there
yes.
you go. There's a memory for you.
Wow, what? Yeah, I remember that conversation.
Yeah. And that was a good event. The wrecked all day things. They still do them, I believe.
Where do they do them now?
I think they do them at the studio now, but I'm not sure. So are you still playing with Pete?
No.
Right.
I'm not playing with Pete. I left about 5 or 6 years ago.
Yeah.
To do other things because I was doing loads of other music. And I love the band, but it's relentless. He is a workhorse.
Is he?
Yeah. You're constantly gigging and you're rehearsing all the time. It's a serious band.
Right.
And if you can't give it everything, I think you should get out of the kitchen.
Yeah, well, no, I know what you mean. I mean, John Lewis, who's been christened John No Jokes Lewis now by Neil Innes after doing gigs with him. He was in that band, wasn't he?
Yeah.
John's fantastic as well. I mean, he's a proper player.
He is an amazing musician and so humble with it.
Yeah. Oh, God, yeah, he just goes bright red if you give him any compliment. Mind you, he was a bit of a tinker. We did Glastonbury a few years back, and fucking hell, he was funny.
Was it?
Yeah. We all went, I went bed early one night. I mean, what we did was we got there and we pitched up the tents because we're idiots. Well, I'm an idiot. And what I didn't realise was at night we were right by a fence, where a big bloody security light came on.
Oh, great.
So we were proper... But anyway, we all went bed one night and he stayed up and I think a few others stayed up and drank a bottle of Mount Gay rum. And I could hear him running round and hooting.
Oh, really? Jesus. I'd love to have been there, see him do that.
Oh, I'd love to have seen him, but I was in the land of Nod. But you've been working with John again recently, haven't you?
He has come and done, he's filled in as our horn for Amanda Brown and the Commoneers.
Yeah.
He's just a brilliant musician, but he's in Widnes most of the time.
Yeah. Well, he teaches, doesn't he?
He does teach. I think he came and did 2 gigs with us. Absolutely killed it.
Yeah.
With absolutely no effort whatsoever.
That's John.
And his lovely wife Sue.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen him for a little while. But I would. What I'm trying to do. Well, I'm going to try and do is I'm really into the Dixieland kind of old time trad jazz, and that's what I play mostly now.
Yeah. And
I went to a festival at the weekend.
All right.
A jazz festival, and after all the festival had finished, all the musicians got together and they were just having a massive jam. Right. And it was amazing. It's quite intimidating, actually.
Yeah, it would be.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I'm not keen on jams. They are a bit much.
Yeah, especially when everybody's so good and they're serious and that.
Yeah.
I think I played one tune. I was like, "Oh, get the hell out of the kitchen!" It was excruciating. I had so many emotions. But anyway, that's how they get so good.
Yeah.
Is that they just play with each other all of the time.
Yeah.
And they teach each other different tunes. They tried different things out. Everybody has a go at doing everything, and it was a beautiful experience. And I've spoken to musicians, and they would like to do that, but nobody really does that. So I'm part of a studio in town. Well, we still got the space.
Yeah.
Maybe just have some.
Yeah.
Jam sandwiches.
Yeah, why not? So that you're going to get John in on that?
Yeah, I'm going to tell him when it is so he can come down, because it'd be great to have some really good players there.
Well, there's a whole tradition, isn't there, of that area of Liverpool, of sort of Dixieland jazz.
Yeah.
I remember Chris Huff taking us to see some guys who were he said some of these 80 odd Livo, and all that. I was like, all right, I'll go and see it. And it was after we did a show at the Unity. And they were great. I mean, they've been playing there for about 50 years, he said.
Was it the Blue Magnolias?
It was summer. I don't know. Yeah. It was sort of not just the old guys, but a load of younger guys coming through. Yeah. And they were just sort of replenishing. But, I mean, yeah, it's a funny thing with Liverpool in the last 10 years that I've observed, because, like you, I'm an outsider to the place. Mm. And Roger, who was on last week, we were both saying how we feel at home here.
Yeah.
Even though we're not from here. And I've noticed it's been pushed further up that hill towards Toxteth, anything that's interesting, hasn't it?
Yeah.
To the point now where it's sort of all along Catherine Street. You know, the Caledonia, or there's other places there. What's the
Peter Cavanagh?
Peter Cavanagh, yeah. And I presume the studio space. Are you on about Steve's place above St Bride's? Or are you on about somewhere else?
I'm on about the Well, which is on Roscoe Street.
Again, going further up that hill.
Yeah.
And I think that's where the most interesting culture comes from, when it's not mainstream.
Yeah, definitely.
It's just been weird to watch things being demolished and removed, and Liverpool's got very corporate over the last 10 years, hasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, the deal that was going on when I got into it probably about 10 years ago, the art organisation was quite prolific at the time. So these were a couple of guys from London who found this, but basically were able to speak to people that with property and offer them something in return for very cheap or free studio space. You know, you're basically taking care of an empty building, making sure loads of like homeless people don't go in there. It's being maintained, it's being taken care of. If anything goes wrong, somebody notices.
Right.
And because it was a community organisation, you got business rates relief. So even though these buildings are all empty, the owners have to pay business rates to the council, which is huge amounts of money. Right. So if they get a load of artists in or a community organisation, then they get their building taken care of and they get rates relief. So it was like it was a win-win situation. But since all the redevelopment, we're getting pushed out because people are interested in that property. People want to knock that down and build some more luxury flats because we really, really need those.
Yeah, I know. There's such a shortage.
Yeah, I know. You walk around this city and you think, you know what this place needs? Luxury flats.
It looks like a sort of West Coast waterside down there now.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable how much stuff has gone up, you know. It's, as you say, there's no shortage of it. But, I mean, it just doesn't have the heart and soul of the old place. There's just no way. It's why it's more interesting now, further into Toxteth.
Yeah.
So this place in Roscoe Street, it's just what's going on there? I mean, is there a website for a kick-off?
Well, you can go onto Facebook,
Yeah.
but basically what it is it's been a lot of things. It's been a bike shop, a bike repair place. It's been a couple of cafes for a while, but always having artist studio spaces as part of it. So it's just a bunch of artist studio spaces. We put on the odd event when we want to put on an event, or if we need to pay some bills or something, you know. But it's just a collection of artists that need a space in town.
Yeah.
And it just gets used. We've got all sorts of people there. We've got a couple of puppet makers. I'm a musician there. I'm making loads of noise. We've got a costume person. We've got a couple of painters, a couple of sculptors.
So this is the Long Finger Bandits rehearsal room, is it?
No, this is... No. I don't really do that anymore.
You don't do that anymore?
No.
That's a travesty, by the
way. I know.
I really like that band.
Yeah, I know.
So how come you stopped?
Those songs I wrote a long time ago.
Right.
And the nature of bands when you're going for it is people go. So you don't really, sometimes you're always catching up with yourself. So you end up being quite stagnant even though people are changing. Mm-hmm. You end up doing the same songs.
Yeah.
And I got offered a really lovely thing last year by this fella called Carlo Variola, who's got his own little production company. And he said, I love the Long Finger Bandits, I want to record you. So we recorded a bunch of stuff with him. I've done a few music videos. I sent them to you.
Yeah.
But then we did a gig and I had a great band. I had a great band with absolutely fantastic musicians. And I was playing a night with really interesting... other interesting artists. I say Mr. Marseille, but his name's not Mr. Marseille.
Right.
His name's like Mr. Mackay, something like that. But he's from Belgium, and he plays death metal cello as a one-man band. Death metal cello with like Mongolian throat singing and two kick drums, and he sits there in his underpants, sweating. Going, and it's really, really amazing. And this other guy, Bob Blogg, I don't know if you know Bob Blogg.
That's a familiar name, yeah.
Also a one-man band.
Yeah.
Wears a...
Oh, with the crash helmet, with the phone on it. Yeah, he's Bill's mate, isn't he? He's always doing Jake's Dumbles place.
Yes,
and stuff
yeah,
like
yeah.
that.
Well, that's where we played, so it was a great venue as well.
You're right.
But anyway, halfway through the set, I was I was going, this is the best we've ever been. It sounds great and everything. What's missing? Why am I feeling like this? And it's just I don't want to sing those songs anymore. I'm not that person.
Happens. It's weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, you do just have to shed material as you go along.
Yeah.
It's like now I'm doing an album with Andy Frizz, and well, we're writing an EP, and then we're going to do that. And it's like I've got tunes there that I wrote, 10 years ago, some of them, and mates are saying, "Oh, you've really got to do a proper version of this and that." And I'm still I like the song. But it's just like, I don't want to do it anymore. So I'm I think it's quite healthy for a writer to do this. But also at the same time, it's, when you chuck stuff away, it's a tightrope to walk. When you walk away from something, it's like, starting this podcast thing now. It's completely new. It's got no sort of support network in terms of no corporate money, no nothing.
Yeah.
And it's literally just yourself on a trapeze, isn't it? And so there is that sort of, oh my God, but you're compelled to do it.
Yeah.
And there's just no other choice.
Yeah. And when the opportunity and the people that you you can make other things happen because you've got to know other people, you've matured as an artist or a musician, or you progress, don't you?
Yeah.
And I've always, what I do a lot of now is the trad jazz. And I love that stuff. I've loved that since I was a kid. All the cartoons, Betty Boop, all Bugs Bunny, all of that. That's the Hula Hoops advert. Do you remember the Hula Hoops advert with Cab Calloway as the moon?
Yeah. Oh, Cab Calloway.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck yeah.
All that stuff. And I can't really believe that I'm playing that stuff now.
Right.
So I want to go down that route. So I've started a new project, which I absolutely love, which at the moment is called Duke Ellington Club, but we're going to think of a better name.
Right, okay.
And we do Duke Ellington orchestrations as a 4-piece.
Right. They used to be a geezer went drinking in. Do you remember the pub? Is it still there? The Dart on Lodge Lane. Do you remember that old pub there?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and there was a guy who used to go in there in a pair of wellies, and he used to say he played saxophone, right? This big African guy with these wellies on. And no one believed him, and then one week he took the saxophone in, and from there on in he was Duke Wellington.
Oh man, I want to meet that guy.
Oh yeah, you're going back 40 years, I'm sure. This is just one of the tales you got told when you were down there, It's a funny thing though with Liverpool. I mean, what originally brought you, because you're from Telford, aren't you?
Yeah.
So, I mean, was it music that brought you here? Was it music?
Well, his boyfriend.
Oh, I see.
Who played music.
Right.
And I didn't settle anywhere else, and I always loved it here.
Yeah.
I lived in Manchester, left Telford, went to uni in Manchester, and never really settled there, but had a really, really good time.
What did you do at uni?
Biomedical science.
Wow. Did you complete it?
No.
No, the trad jazz, the allure of Duke Wellington was far too much.
Called me.
Yeah.
No. I always wanted to be a musician, but I never learnt an instrument until much, much later.
Right.
And probably didn't really pick up a guitar seriously until I was about 25 or something.
Wow.
And then Long Finger Bandits started when I was about 27.
Right.
And Pete Bentham picked me up.
Also, Long Finger Bandits predate?
Only by like a tiny little bit.
Right.
But I was playing with Pete more seriously. We were like developing things with Long Finger Bandits. I was writing songs.
Right.
But I was playing gigs with Pete.
Right. Wow, I didn't know that. I thought the Long Finger Bandits was something quite recent, really. So that's me.
No.
That's me told.
I started in 2000. Oh, no. Pete came first, and Long Finger Bandits started about a year after that.
Right. So, hence why you've had enough.
Yeah.
But you've recorded those songs, you said?
Yeah. Well, we did 2 albums anyway, and
right.
we've recorded 4 or 5 songs with Carlo. We've released 2.
Right.
I'm finishing a video for the last single, and then we're gonna put that out as an EP with the other 2 songs.
And then that's it?
Yeah, I think that's going to be it now, because I write my own songs still, but I can fit them into Amanda Brown and the Commoneers.
Right.
So I tried to write like a little gospel tune. Amanda writes music as well, but because it fits so seamlessly into what we do with the covers, they sound just like those songs. So people think they're just.
Well, I
trad
did.
songs.
When I saw you in the lodge a couple of weeks back, I just thought they were all old. It sounded like, I could be wrong, but I thought you did the theme from Jeeves and Wooster.
Yes, we did.
Oh, you did. Good.
Oh,
Very
yeah.
wise.
If you were at a festival at the weekend, you would have got a T-shirt for guessing that.
Oh, really? Right. Well, I need my T-shirt now. The music for Jeeves and Wooster's great. Have you got the CD?
The Jeeves and Wooster CD? No.
The World of Jeeves and Wooster?
No.
I shall send it to you.
Oh, please do.
Yeah. Have you heard Oh by Jingo?
It does. It's Hugh, isn't it?
Yeah, Hugh Laurie sings and plays piano on it, and they've got a little tea time jazz band. It's a great album. Oh by Jingo, oh by gosh by Jove. You don't know that one?
I love that tune.
Yeah, it's great. We will. The best bit in that is oh by Jingo, please don't bother me, bother her, and all that stuff. So they all had a little yeah, that's a great tune, that. But he does it fantastically well. Hugh Laurie. He's really good though, isn't he? I mean, he's got some great CDs and DVDs and shit like that out there. It was just like, oh right, good. I'm glad he's taking it seriously.
He's a really good musician.
Yeah.
I was watching some of the, Hugh and Laurie, Fry and a little bit of Fry and Laurie, those old.
Yeah, he does some cracking stuff, doesn't he? Yeah.
Nearly every episode he's playing something, or there's a little kind of singing number in it.
Yeah.
It's really good. And getting Stephen Fry to sing tunes and look uncomfortable is great.
Oh, yeah. He won't sing. Mind you, I've sung with Stephen Fry.
Have you?
Yeah, at the Old Vic in Bristol. We did Sir Henry, and he introduced it. And at the end of it, we sang some songs, and Stephen and I sang together.
What did you sing?
We sang together. We sang Sport the Odd Boy, which is a Bonzo's number, which is what he really loves, because the Sport the Odd Boy is about a kid who, like me, really, who was never any good at school at sport. And Viv, who wrote it, obviously he wasn't any good at sport. So, and in the middle of it, it's them reading a sick note from a parent, and it's like, dear, please excuse Stephen from games. So he always loved it, and he read the note out in the middle. But he sang it as well. He was probably basso profundo, as they say. But he's a really, really nice bloke.
Oh man, I want that guy to be my uncle so bad.
Oh, he's great.
I call him Uncle Steve.
He's a top guy.
Yeah.
He's a top guy, and the amount of support he's given us, and it doesn't have to do anything.
He does ooze, I'm cool as a cucumber, doesn't he?
And he is. Yeah. He is a top guy. But yeah, I will do you that CD, because it is really, really good, and you will enjoy it. I knew it was the Jeeves and Wooster thing.
Yeah.
So, sort of backtracking that, you're more or less exploring this music as opposed to changing it. Is that what you're saying? You're on a voyage through jazz at the moment?
I am.
A voyage through jazz.
I am extremely impressed and obsessed with Duke Ellington.
Right.
And his music is just fantastic and amazing. I want to be able to play it. And the people I'm doing this project with, so it's Martin Smith, trumpet.
Yeah.
Nick Branton, saxophone, clarinet.
Right.
Lucy Mercer, drums and vocal, and then me on double bass and vocal. Cool. So, one of the little things about the band is that we have no chord instruments. So me and Lucy try to use our voices in interesting ways.
Oh, cool.
So it's never going to sound like how Duke did it.
Right, okay.
And it's not going to sound like another, Wynton Marsalis version of the same tune. It's our way of doing this thing. It's beautiful and interesting, and it became quite an organic kind of collaboration, really. So
is it just the work of him, or are you the human being? Are you into the man?
I'm learning about him. He is a really interesting guy, He's kind of a middle class kind of, black guy, well educated and stuff like that. But his musicians in his band, they would not have been at all. So I'm learning about him. I'm going to read his autobiography, but the stuff I've seen online, and you can tell that, because they were all troubled, kind of, a lot of those amazing players of Bob Marley and.
They lived in mad times.
Times.
The backdrop to that music is just incredible. I mean, it's funny, isn't it, that you get all these "You Are My Sunshine" and all that out of these and you know, "Happy Days" and all these songs that come out of some real shit,
because they need it.
Yeah.
They need it not as an exploration of sound or some academic thing. They need it as medicine. They need these songs to make them feel good. They want to be able to forget, and that's what those songs do. You can learn the words really easily. You can all sing along together. You can dance. So
is this one of the big appeals then for you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The kind of the happiness next to the serious amount of pain is I don't know. It's
intoxicating and fantastically interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know anything about Duke Ellington. I just know this sort of monolithic figure in that world as Duke Ellington. But I do find it interesting that what must he have been dead? 70 years, 60 years?
It's like 85 something. He died.
Oh, he lived that long, did he?
Yeah.
Right. It's showing my ignorance completely. So he's been dead 30 odd years.
Yeah.
And did you hear him growing up? I mean, you just heard him on the advert, as you said.
I just heard him on the adverts and on the films and the cartoons and things like that.
Yeah.
But I didn't know it was Duke Ellington.
It's a funny time to be living in, where you have the veneer, like you say, of all this wonderful music, but you dig a little bit as you're doing, and I mean, that's got to have some impact on how you perform it, does it? Well,
the music, I suppose, does, and everybody's individual experience will always inform how they perform a song or how they feel about a song or a piece of music. Especially those kind of bits of music, they invoke some kind of feeling or emotion, and it depends on what's happened to you, how you feel.
Yeah.
And the joy of it is that you don't have to have gone through all the crap they went through, but you can still feel something from it.
Yeah.
It's very potent, and a lot of it is just like, I say just the blues, but it's a blues format, but just gone mental with. He's just had the best fun ever within the boundaries of this thing, and I'm quite interested in that as a thing, as a like
wig out.
Yeah, you have boundaries and you have rules, but within those rules there's a lot of freedom. Maybe it's because I'm not as proficient as I'd like to be on my instrument, or I started late to know that I can play 3 chords and play like loads and loads of songs, or I can have, try.
So do you read or do you play by ear?
I play by ear.
Yeah, so do I.
I'm trying to learn to read.
I've tried. I tried once, and I had one lesson. Back in my previous life, when I was a teacher, the girl who was teaching music at the school, she was like, "Oh no, let me come round and give you a piano lesson." I was like, "Oh, all right then." So she came round one night, and then she sort of made me number me fingers, and she's like, "Right now," and it's like, no, to coin a phrase, sort of, it corked my juices. So I'd rather just sit down. I mean, the first thing she pulled me up on, it's like, "Well, which finger do you put down on the piano first?" And I just put my thumb down. Like, no. Oh, well, then that's that.
Yeah, you just told me I'm wrong.
Well, I learnt watching Ray Manzarek and the Doors. And with him, it's just, he uses the thumb as a sort of a pivot for the rest of his hand, So when I learned, I always wanted a piano when I was a kid. Always wanted a piano. And I used to deliver newspapers. And on a Wednesday or a Thursday, the Liverpool Echo used to have an advert every week. Pianos for sale from 75 quid,
Yeah.
And I used to beg, "Please, Mum, can I have a piano?" And she's like, no. So she's quite right. I haven't bought pianos since. A 75 quid piano shite. And when I was, let me think, probably 12 or something, she bought me this Bontempi organ. And it was, I remember the Christmas morning, I put it together, it was like click, click, this plastic thing. And it was really brown plastic and wobbly.
Yeah.
And you switched it on and it went, this big airbag in it. And it was like, and you pressed the key. So I could do the theme from the Family Ness on it. Because that was like bagpipes. Yeah. But I finally got a keyboard for my 18th birthday. I got a Casio CT670. I remember it really well. I was like, hooray, I have a keyboard as well. And I was so into the Doors at that point because the film had just come out or whatever, you know, Val Kilmer. And so I used to just sit there playing Doors records. And thankfully, the Casio on the back has got like a little peg dial. I don't know, it's got a flat and a sharp each side.
Okay.
So you can turn it to sharpen it or flatten it. I know nothing about music, so I don't know how it works. But for some reason, old 60s records, you have to go tune down half a tone.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Probably because my record player was shit. So I remember doing that and learning all these Doors tunes, you know. But
so just a technical question. You had to turn it half a... So
yeah,
would it
flat.
be like half a tone?
Yeah.
So you would play it... If you wanted to play it right without doing the wiggly thing, you'd have to play it in a different place?
No, it wasn't quite half a tone.
Oh, okay.
It was some... I don't even know. Write in, folks. Someone who knows will write in and tell me exactly how it works, hopefully. But yeah, I mean, reading and... I don't know. I don't think anything can replicate sitting down with the instrument and just going somewhere. Yeah. That's what I love more than anything, just letting it take you somewhere. And especially if you're not really intending to write, but you end up writing, because it's one of those things you can't predict.
Yeah.
I'm presuming.
Well, it just happens or it doesn't happen. If my personal way of doing it is I can't really force it. I can have an idea and work on it, but it will take 3 months until I'll have that moment of half a day or a day where I'll go, oh, and then I'll write the whole song in that day. But I might have had the idea to write that gospel song or whatever 3 months ago, but I haven't quite been able to do it.
The longest one for that with me was a song I dreamt. And this girl in this dream was playing the guitar in the corner, and it was the best song I'd ever heard. Not that what I ended up writing was. And all I can remember, it was in a pub in this dream, and all I can remember us singing was... when the pub closed down. That's all I could remember. And then last year when I did the album with the Rodney Slater album with him, and this song Last Orders came about that I was doing, and it's about all the pubs, and so I managed to work it into the chorus, you know. But that must have been 10 years between the dream and that. And I do believe that you never forget those little bits of music you come up with. No. So they come back up.
Well, if you love them enough. There's one of the first Duke Ellington tunes that I totally got obsessed with was East St Louis Toodaloo, and it's got this bass line in it. And I was trying to get people to play this tune with me, but it never happened. And I was in a band called Harlequin Dynamite, which were like a 14-piece techno brass band.
Wow.
Yes.
Yes. Pigeonhole that.
We had some fun times. But I wrote a song for them, and I managed to weave that bass line into it somehow. So it kind of inspired the song a little bit.
Yeah.
But now I get to play the song though, so it's cool. Right.
I love doing that. Getting it in under the radar and stuff like that. It's just nice. Was it in the same time signature? Or was
no.
It was That's even better.
Because it's techno, isn't it?
Yeah,
techno and jazz.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I'm thick. So what's typical jazz time signature then? What's that, 7/8 or something?
I don't freaking know.
You do. I bet you
don't. 4/4.
Right, there you go. Well, that's techno. That's techno, isn't it?
It is.
I should think so anyway. So this gospel tune that you keep referring to, this is obviously... See, I don't know about you, but when I'm writing a song, it won't leave me alone till I record it. It won't leave me alone. It's very rare I've got more than one song in my head, and I'll record it and I never want to hear it again, you know, because it's bugged me for weeks and weeks and weeks, because you generally... I don't know about you, but I don't hear the lyrics in it at all, generally. I just hear... a song. And I'll tell you what usually happens. So I'll sit down and I'll have some chords, and then I'll have like the idea of the theme of the song, what it might be about, you know, going to the shop getting some beans, or ex-boyfriend, or my mum. And then I'll have a shower. Right. And then the first line will come to me while I'm either having a bath or a shower. And do your lyrics, do you purposefully make them rhyme, or? Yeah. Yeah, I do. I love it. I try not to do it sometimes, because you think that, that's what everybody does, but it works. I love a beautiful turn of phrase. Yeah. And that's what songs allow you to do. You get to play with language and poetry in a lovely way that people get to understand. Yeah. Well, I think in that Last Orders, going back to me, and I shouldn't be. I'm here you're here to talk about you.
Go for it.
But the favourite rhyme I did recently, well, in the last year, was old Dolly drove Jim Wild, because it's last orders in a pub. Old Dolly drove Jim Wild. It got her Arthur riled. 999 was dialed. It's last orders. So I was pleased with that one.
Yeah, that's
dialed
a good
and
one.
riled. But there's some very nice rhymes out there.
There are.
What's your favourite one then?
That I've written?
Yeah.
Sorry, I have to write this.
No, I know you have to go
It's
through.
quite dark. It's quite dark.
Aye. You have to go through the whole bloody song, don't you?
Yeah. It doesn't rhyme, but the couplet is, it goes, I put my foot in my mouth and then I shot my foot.
That is dark.
That
isn't
is
it?
dark.
So what's that from?
That's from a tune called Pulling Hair. So it's about pulling your hair out,
Right.
being frustrated or whatever. And I do have a habit. People bite their nails and stuff, and when I get nervous and things, like my sister does it as well. There's a name for it. I pull my hair out.
Right.
So I wrote a song called "Pulling Your Hair Out," and I got to about being very frustrated and not being able to change things when you want to change them.
Yeah, that is a crap feeling.
It is.
I never used to feel that when I was young whatsoever. It never used to bother me. You know, things were as they were.
Yeah.
And then I think as you get older, you kind of, it's like, hang on. It's almost like I think probably nowadays this is because we've got the vanity and the luxury of being able to do what we want with our lives, really. And you've sort of got a checklist that as you run down, I should have done this by the time I'm 30, I should have done that. And I think social media feeds into this because social media is bullshit.
Yeah.
And everyone lies on it.
It's a massive comparison kind of thing,
Yeah.
and that's the thing that kills people's love for themselves
Yeah.
and creativity.
Yeah.
Is comparing yourself against somebody else.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
but that tool just does that.
Yeah.
But it does other things as well.
Well, I mean, I think that we both use it to get our stuff out there as well. So there's that side of it. But I think they call it compare despair.
Is that?
I think that's the psychological term for it.
It rhymes.
It rhymes. There's a song title. Maybe you can write one about your mum called that. So why does your mum inspire you then? And does she make you pull your hair out?
My mum is an amazing woman. She's had. She's very kind and selfless, which I try to be kind, but I'm definitely not selfless.
No?
Yeah, no. I want to do what I want to do.
Yeah.
When I want to do it.
Yeah.
So that's.
I think that's common to a lot of people. Well, everybody.
And her generation of women are from a very different experience of being a woman than I am.
Right.
And so she had different pressures on her that I don't have to deal with. So, like things like getting married, having kids, dealing with family members and compromising your desires and your thoughts even just for the family and things like that. Like, I don't have to do that.
Yeah, there is all that goes along with it. I'm trying to think what... I was reading something about this the other day about how, we have a completely different mindset now. It's because we are, as a species, we're actually meant to be quite tribal, and I think that's why Facebook and all these things bother people on such a deep level.
Yeah. Because
they're observing what their peers, the rest of their tribe is doing and comparing themselves all the time. But it must be... I mean, that's the trouble as well, it's this sort of, this regret as life goes on, like you're saying about pulling your hair out or whatever it is. It's sort of, I think I turned 45 last November, and I've noticed it in the last couple of years creeping in, this sort of regret and this sort of... I
should have done this,
I should have done this, and I should have done... And when I was younger, I never even... became aware of that, but you had older people saying, come on, times are wasted and all that, and you're like, no, I just want to sit around getting stoned and twiddling with my guitar for 3 weeks, you know what I mean, and not getting anywhere. So is that something that you're feeling? Are you feeling that kind of feeling?
It's a funny thing you should say that, like regret. When I started playing music, I always wanted to play music. And Pete Bentham has a beautiful way. He's like, if you want to do something, just shut up moaning and do it. That's like his general vibe.
Yeah.
And he's totally right.
Yeah.
And the more people I spoke to in life, and the more older people, and they're always going, oh, you don't want to regret anything. And they're right.
Yeah.
So I said, I don't want to regret anything. I want to learn, even if I make mistakes, which I make a lot of. I just try and say, I'm glad that I did it rather than didn't do it and wonder.
As long as you learn.
Yeah, as long as you do learn, it's fine.
Yeah.
You know, as long as you're not repeating the same mistake over and over again, then you're an idiot.
Yeah.
But if you're learning, then it's okay. And then as long as you're being good to people, you're not screwing people over for your own gain.
Yeah.
Then what's the problem? You're gonna get really good stories.
Yeah.
You know, you don't want to wake up. I don't want to wake up like in 20 years' time going, oh, I should have done that gig instead of going to work. Oh, I should have. Yeah. You know, with Pete Bentham, I was working as a part-time teacher when we got our first Germany tour. I don't even think he knows that this happened. But so I was working as a part-time art teacher at Hubert College in Bootle. And he said, oh, we've been offered like 2 weeks, I think it was like 2.5 weeks, Jesus Christ, tour, but it was right at the beginning of term. So I went to work and I said, and I already told Pete that I could do it.
Right.
Because I thought I got the dates mixed up. And they said, if you're not there at the beginning of term, then we can't offer you the position for the rest of the year.
Right.
And I just started helping run a studio space in town as well, so I was quite involved with that. And I was very much like, oh, fuck it, yeah, I'm going on tour then.
Yeah.
And even though I was really poor after that, I had such a rich experience.
Yeah.
That I am so glad that I did.
Yeah.
Even if it was excruciating at times and very difficult at times, it was definitely worth it because I'm a much better person for doing it than for not doing it. And I've got some way better stories.
Oh, God, yeah. Oh, Jesus, yeah. So, what was the tour of Germany like?
It was amazing.
So what kind of venues were they? Were they festivals? Were they clubs?
There were a couple of clubs. There was a variety. A lot of crusty, squatty, punk squats type things.
Crusty, punky, punk squats?
Squatty, punky vegan places.
They generally are crusty, yeah.
Really, really interesting. There was one place in a place called Kakadu, and it's near Nuremberg. Really beautiful people run it. A lady called Wobble.
Wow. So she was German, so presumably "ja wobble" was said a lot.
Verbal.
Oh, verbal.
Yeah, we should go verbal, but we just called her Wobble.
Oh, the "ja wobble" joke doesn't work when you say verbal, does it? Oh, fair enough.
But it was like this small little centre where they all got together and put gigs on, but then everybody lived in wagons in this little forest, and it was next to a concrete factory. It was amazing.
Wow.
And we played in a community cinema in Liberec in Czech Republic, and then we played a lot of squats and a couple of clubs.
Right.
Community spaces.
You would have been poor coming back from that.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, a belly full of mung beans doesn't pay the rent, really, does it?
No,
but
no.
yeah, I mean, I got a few experiences like that, and I wouldn't swap them.
No.
I wouldn't swap them. Not that I had anything else going on in my life when it happened to me, but yeah, it's sort of like, it's almost like being in a movie, in it, when you encounter that, and you think that, you know, you might think that, oh, you know, I'm living outside of society and I'm doing that, and you go and see these people and you're like, fucking hell, man, that's living outside of society.
Yeah, you're just teetering on the edge.
Yeah.
Looking.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it was definitely worth doing. And John Lewis was on that, wasn't he?
Yes, he was.
Blimey.
Oh, he did so well. I think he might have lost the will to live a little bit.
Did he?
Towards the end. But we were keeping each other like strong, me and because we called him John the Caretaker.
Yeah, I can see that.
He'll always be John the Caretaker to me.
Oh, yeah. Oh, he's great. I remember we did a gig in Penzance, and it was like 9 hours coming back. And John, and you know Jed? Trumpet player, you know Jed. So John Hayes, who's the drummer on the Sir Henry thing, And we're coming back, and we'd been in the pub all day waiting for it was Jake driving the van. We're waiting for Jake, and we gets on the van, not the bus. We gets in the minibus, and it's all like really, really monstered. And we stopped at a supermarket. And John and Jed went in the supermarket and got a bottle of Bushmills whiskey and 2 bottles of red wine. And I was just sort of observing this. I was just like, I'm putting my headphones in. I'm having nothing to do with this. So they developed a game. John Lewis is sat here by the window.
Yeah.
And John Hayes is sat next to him. And in front of him, Jed's kneeling on the seat in front. So Jed's facing John. And John and Jed have got this game. After a day in the pub, half a bottle of whiskey each, and they're setting in on the red. Their game is to slap each other around the head as hard as they can. And John's just sort of looking out the window, just like
John the caretaker.
John the caretaker's looking out the window, just like
they're hitting each other here.
I don't know about this, And I was just like that with the headphones, and I was like, oh shit, And the van's rocking about, and Bill's driving and getting angrier and angrier as they go along.
Oh dear.
It's just that the game we're just slapping each other around the head.
That happened. I was doing a gig in Barcelona for a bunch of rockabillys in the middle of this housing estate. It was weird. Steve Cole was there in this band called White Blackula, and at the end of the night there, all these rockabillys, they were all gathered round these 2 guys, and they were standing there, and the game was to slap each other in the face.
What the fuck?
But I don't know what, because they'd slap one and everybody would cheer, and then the other guy had slapped the other one, and then everybody would cheer. But then they'd be scared of hitting each other, which is really funny to watch.
Oh well, Jed got the arse with John.
Did he?
Oh yeah, you know Jed, don't you?
Yeah.
Right. So it stopped being fun. It was like all of a sudden Jed was just like, playtime's over, and he got angry. I was like, oh fucking hell. But maybe that's the thing. You hit a point, a saturation point of being slapped round the head, and it's like, this shit ain't funny now.
Yeah, because you meant that.
You meant that slap. But I remember it all calmed down. Bill had told them off, because Bill, I mean, you say John's the caretaker, well, Bill's the headmaster.
Yeah.
So Bill had told them off, and they were being quiet. And I was saying to John, I took my earphones out, because it's calm, it's safe to come out now. I said to John, I was like, what are you doing tonight? Like, and he's just, I'm gonna get something brought in. A courier takeaway. But getting something brought in. It's just a lovely. I adore the man, and he is just like some guy out the 1950s.
Yeah,
isn't
he? He's gentle.
Yeah, he really is
but
gentle,
with a lot of experience
and super sharp.
Yeah.
I mean, he doesn't say much, but he just observes everything and absorbs everything.
Yeah,
he's such a nice guy. But yeah, that was an experience. And when we got back, Bill made John Hayes apologise to John Lewis, and this is why I remember the German talk. And John was like, you don't need to apologise to me. I've been on tours in Germany, mate. That must be what he meant, So it all comes full circle. I understand now.
Yeah.
I've toured Germany. You don't need to apologise to me.
That was a mental tour. We had a pretty much an illegal van.
Well, that's unusual.
We did the whole tour on a European A to Z.
Yeah. Who was driving?
A fella called Anton. Do you know Anton from Vamos?
No.
So he's a lovely guy, guy. Loves to get trolleyed and is generally pissed in the morning. We had I've got a love for Anton. I accidentally we've fallen out a couple of times on tour, and that's how you get close, isn't it?
Yeah.
And this fella called Rob King. Do you know Rob King?
Yeah.
Yeah, he likes to drink too, and it was a mental tour. I had to keep my eyes on the road the whole time when Rob was driving, because if I just looked down too much, he'd just take an exit. I was like, why are you taking this exit? He's like, I don't know. And there was loads. So I tell you what, a 4-hour journey, which was supposed to be our shortest journey, took 8.5 hours because
No.
because Rob King just couldn't stop going right for whatever reason.
Probably because the steering wheel was on the wrong side. You know.
Yeah.
So the common ears is now the thing, isn't it? That you're doing at the minute.
Yeah.
That's an interesting setup, really. Because I think I've seen the band 3 times, and each time it's been a different band.
Yeah.
Apart from you and Amanda. So what's the thing behind that? I mean, I know it's very sort of jazz based. Is this some common ground? Not common ears, common ground with Amanda. Is this some shared?
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, Amanda used to have another band called the Flaming Mamies. Yeah. So when
you were in that once or twice, weren't you?
Yeah. I joined towards the end before they.
That's right. Yeah, I remember seeing you in
departed.
Peter Kavanagh on the Tuesday night with Sid Bailey's.
Yes.
Yeah.
What a fantastic band they were.
Those nights. Fucking great.
Amazing.
Reform now.
I know.
If you're listening. Now.
Somebody give him a place to play and give him some money. Because
money's what's required.
That's the only thing that killed it off for him, really, because it was amazing that night.
Fucking brilliant.
They were... The tunes they did were amazing. Their vibe was amazing. Everybody loved it. It was an institution.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
I would go there religiously.
Oh, fucking right.
Seeing the Flaming Mamies for the first time blew me head off.
Yeah.
But I already knew those guys from Blue Demon.
Yeah.
Which was an amazing rockabilly band.
That's right. Well, Chris was the bass player, wasn't he, in that? Yeah.
Dave was the drummer.
Yeah.
And they had a fella on guitar. And they were amazing. They were one of the best rockabilly.
Yeah. I've seen
bands.
the post. I've only seen posters in Chris's place.
Yeah.
You know, they were sort of long gone.
They are long gone, but they started Sydney Bailey's after that.
Right.
And we're doing that trad music because I think Chris Uffy and Dave and stuff used to knock about with all the trad guys because they were into that stuff anyway.
Yeah.
The Flaming Mamies formed from that, and I was making friends with them, waiting for them to ask me to be in their band. I kind of, slipped into conversation. I started learning clarinet, kind of specifically to be in their band. Yeah,
wow.
I love clarinet anyway. It's really, really hard. I don't really play it now. But then I would slip into conversation. Oh yeah, I've been playing clarinet. Yeah, I've been playing clarinet.
Putting that one out there.
Yeah, just putting it out there, and then I think it was Amanda or Chantel that said, "Oh, do you want to be in the Flaming Mamies?" I was like, "Hell yeah, I'd like to be in the Flaming Mamies."
Yeah, at last.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
So joined the band and then they split up.
yeah. It was sort of, it all seemed to end at the same time, didn't it?
Yeah.
I think they still do things in that pub, don't they?
They do. But it's not with the same musicians, not with that group of musicians.
It's fucking great. I mean, you get all these sort of old boys who were legends anyway. Yeah. And sadly, one died not recently, didn't he?
The clarinet guy.
Yeah, I seen Chris put a thing out. It's like, oh, fuck. Shit, man. But I mean, it's one of those things, if you were a decent enough filmmaker, which, I'm not, but it's so difficult to capture something like that. You really had to be there, didn't you?
Yeah.
For those nights.
Yeah.
And they were fucking nuts.
And it grows silently.
Yeah.
And people are protective of it because they want to go all the time and they don't want it to be ruined.
No. No. And it's a great pub as well. Fucking hell, what a pub it is with all the shit everywhere. And have they cleaned those paintings now? Someone said they cleaned them.
They had a refurb.
Right.
And they cleaned everything, which was great. And now there's more toilets, which is great for the ladies.
Absolutely.
And, they've just had a general tidy, but all the characters still there.
Fantastic. The tables were all off Cunard ships, weren't they? Or bits of Cunard ships.
Oh, were they?
I was always that arsehole in there. I used to love the little room at the back with the old radiogram in it and the fire.
Oh, yeah, the one on the... if the bar's there, on the right or the left?
On the right.
Yeah,
that one just there at the back. It was smart in there. It was just great anyway, full stop. I mean, it is... and it's only recently they've had Peter Kavanagh's put on the side, isn't it? Or has that always been there?
I don't know,
Because I know it was the Grapes, wasn't it? But people called it Peter Kavanagh's.
Oh, is that right?
I think I'm right in saying that.
It's always been Peter Kavanagh's.
He was the guy who painted all the paintings, wasn't he? Oh no, I think I'm wrong. I think he was the alderman of Liverpool, Peter Kavanagh, and he he's in all of those paintings. You know, the sort of big fat bloke.
Yeah.
He's Peter Kavanagh. That's you need Chris and his sort of history of Liverpool to tell you. But I'm probably completely fucking wrong anyway. You know what I mean? But it was somewhat like that.
Yeah.
There was a fella who went there. He did some paintings.
And his name was Pete.
His name was Pete. But according to what they told me, the guy used to go into Peter Kavanagh's every week, run his barbell up, and do another painting.
Oh, to pay it off.
Cover his barbell. That's what Chris told me. And he wasn't Peter Kavanagh. Peter Kavanagh was the alderman of Liverpool, and he banged him in every painting because obviously Peter Kavanagh owned the pub.
Oh, okay.
Somewhat like that.
Oh, right.
Because there was you could go on. You probably still can go on a tour of it, can't you?
I don't know.
You can do a historic Liverpool tour of the pub and all that. Yeah.
I've never been on any of them.
And all that. Well, Chris does the bus thing, doesn't he?
Yeah.
I'd love to go on it.
I'd love to go on it.
I bet he's amazing.
We should do it where all his mates go on that, on his one.
I'd just freak him out one day.
Yeah.
He used to do the duck bus, didn't he?
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Before it sank.
Yeah. I think he said that it sank either the week after the Queen was on it.
Oh, it was her fault.
Yeah, absolutely it was her fault.
Definitely her fault.
But the Commoneers, don't you play Mar Edgerton's?
We play Mar Boyles.
Mar Boyles, right. Good.
On a Thursday night.
Where's that?
It's just off the Strand, off Water Street, next to St Nick's Church. You know that old church on the dock front?
Yeah.
Opposite the Liver building.
Yeah.
It's just a little pub right next to it.
Yeah, I know what you mean now. Isn't there a pub up there called the Croc or the Old Croc?
I don't know that one.
It's a mad old pub up there. I remember seeing at lunchtime it used to be full of like red-nosed solicitors and stuff. Are you on about the business bit?
Yeah. I think that's what Mar Boyles used to be like.
Right.
I think it's had various different guises, like some of them dodgy, some of them all right. Yeah. And now it's like just a lovely pub with some decent grub and music on.
So that's Thursday nights you do that?
Yeah, Thursday nights from 7:30.
And on Facebook you look for Amanda Brown and the Commoneers.
Yes.
COMMONEARS.
Yes.
So have you done any recordings?
We've got a little EP, and that's mainly original numbers, and we're going to do a recording of like classic songs that we do, the covers that we do,
right,
with our arrangements and stuff. So that's kind of this year's / next year's project.
Wow, you're really going into this jazz realm, aren't you?
I do really, really like it. To be honest, I can't believe I'm getting to do the whole thing.
Why?
Because everybody...
You're making it happen?
Yeah,
you are.
Well,
you make this shit happen. You don't people don't give you these things. It starts up here, and you're making this happen. Unless I'm getting the wrong end of the stick.
Yes, I am making it happen. It's all because of me.
No, but this is your project, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So good. You should be really delighted that because so many people just hotter. It's so boring.
Yeah.
I got a mate every time we get pissed. Oh, we'll do a cover of this, man, and you're like, it was interesting when we were 19.
Yeah.
It's so depressing. I like it when people don't say shit and they just get on and do it.
Yeah.
That's what I like.
Well, I used to be very much one of those people. I should do this. I should do that. I should do this. I should do that. I should do this. Oh, I haven't done this. I haven't done that. So
when did that change?
Around when I started playing an instrument. When I left university, actually.
Oh, right. So you've been proactive that long?
Yeah.
Because I needed to get to about 35 before I got off my arse. I really did.
Yeah.
I have to be honest.
Yeah.
I always did things, but I was also, life gets in the way of so many things, but I was also I was happy to sort of live in a fantasy of doing things, if you like.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know if that's because I used to smoke so much fucking weed. I've no idea, probably. Pipe dreams. But I hate all that. I hate the wasted potential.
Yeah.
That's what really gets to me. The people that because I know so many people who are far better than me at doing stuff. Fucking
tell me about it.
Infinitely better than me.
But they give themselves so many excuses not to do it. I've seen that and I get frustrated listening to it, and I don't want to be one of those people.
It's when it snaps at your heels and you start thinking, shit, fuck it. I mean, if I've had a couple of months go by and I've not pushed something on, I start really, I feel ill.
You feel bad about yourself, don't you?
Yeah. You just get smaller and smaller.
It affects your self-esteem.
Yeah. So that's what changed for me.
Yeah.
I started getting older and it was just like, you better fucking get something done.
I started when Mellow started, I just got in. I used to go there, and just all these people just doing stuff. They were doing everything. They weren't talking about it. They were doing it.
Yeah.
And being around people that do stuff, talking about it and not doing it, you feel like an absolute tit end.
Yeah.
So actually, it just doesn't work for everybody. But for me, shame is a really good motivator.
Yeah.
So if I'm embarrassed about something, I will try and do something so I don't feel like that again.
Right.
So there was a few things, and I was like, no, I want to do this thing, so I'm going to do it now. And then with that place and having access to musicians and artists just by going to a cafe, it could make things happen. Just have a conversation with somebody. I've written some songs. Do you want to like play drums to it? Lucy Mercer was like, yeah.
Well, sometimes it's that initial confidence that's hard to find, isn't it? You know, if you've let your self-esteem just be ground down and ground down and ground down, and you're sometimes amazing people can lift you up, but also you can end up feeling much, much smaller. I mean, that's the thing, that when anyone talks to me about this sort of thing, and all you can say is just fucking do it.
Yeah.
I haven't got any insight. I haven't got any special talent that anyone else hasn't got. I've got nothing more than that. Just do it. See what happens.
Yeah.
It might be shit. And if you're shit, you can get better.
Yeah, you can just do something else.
Yeah.
I think work ethic is knowing, like, I believe in talent and everything, but I believe in work more.
Well, it's 50-50, isn't it?
Yeah.
You've got to have the talent, but you've got to work.
You got to work. So I don't see, and maybe my parents always kind of drilled this into me. I don't see why I can't do anything.
Right.
As long as I work at it.
So your parents encouraged you, or
they didn't encourage me in this particular.
No, I mean just full stop to pursue.
In their eyes, there is no reason why I should not be able to do anything anybody else can do.
Right.
So in school, for example, okay, I may not be as good at maths as my big sister, but there is no reason why I can't get better.
Yeah.
Unless you're going to be lazy.
Yeah.
And it's harsh, but it's true.
It's absolutely true.
And so that is something I've grown up with, and it has been embedded quite deeply in me.
Yeah.
And I believe it with all my heart because I see it's true every day of the week.
Oh, fucking hell. Well, if you don't see it in others and you see it in yourself, you know what the difference is.
Yeah.
You know what the difference is. I mean, I'm presuming then that your typical days spent doing what you do, but not sitting around thinking about it actively.
Yeah, I just try and be busy all the time. I think inaction is a very it's a very destructive thing. It's destructive for your body, it's destructive for your mind. So I want to do something and I want to progress as a person. I don't want to. The saddest times I've ever had in my life is I've looked back and for 6 months I couldn't really think of anything I've got better at or done new or been anywhere. Do you know where it's just been stagnant?
Yeah, I fucking hate it.
I can't do that.
No.
I can't do that. Other people can do that.
I could do it.
I wish I could, but I can't.
No, you don't. I can tell you for definite, I just pulled myself back at the brink with all that shit, and it was just like, fucking hell are you doing? And it's so frustrating because it becomes so self-fulfilling.
Yeah.
You know, and so I think for anybody listening to this, it's good for them to hear what you're saying about how you just keep going at it, you know. In terms of sort of the technology and that, I mean, do you think the internet's a force for the good with what you're doing? Does
Absolutely.
it help you get there? Right.
Absolutely, without a doubt. It's opened up knowledge for everybody. It's made, if you know what to look for, what you can learn anything off of the internet. You know, your background and your social status is no longer a barrier. If you want to learn to play clarinet, you buy yourself a crap clarinet, and then you find yourself a teacher on YouTube, and you can play the clarinet.
Yeah.
You know, if you want to do anything, if there's something wrong with your engine, you can look it up on the internet.
It's like this, what we're doing now.
Yeah.
You know, without the democratisation that the internet brings, you know, there'd be none of this. I do think there is that sad side of it that is the compare despair that I'm on about.
Yeah.
And that's a difficult thing. It's a really difficult thing to traverse, really. I think that when you're a little bit older, I think if you've grown up steeped in this stuff, I can understand why kids are getting really mired and bogged down in depression and stuff like that, because I can't imagine a child, I mean, being compared to other kids in school was bad enough, so I stopped going in, you know, but being compared to the whole world, I mean, when you're compared to, is Justin Bieber still a thing, as the kids say?
I believe so.
I believe so. Right, well, I mean, by the time he was fucking 20, he was like, didn't he have $100 million in the bank or something? I know,
like but
that?
Do you know what?
No, but when you're a kid.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I can't imagine, you know, I mean, like most kids, I didn't have the new trainers and all this shit. That was bad enough.
Yeah.
But being compared to some multi-million boy wonder or girl wonder, it must be fucking difficult.
But it's not just that, because there's always been that. Michael Jackson was that, you know.
I suppose so. Yeah.
There's always been that. It's the insecurity is reinforced by everything else because it sells stuff. By adverts, it's it makes you feel insecure about yourself, so you buy some crap you don't need.
With money you don't have.
They've made a very competitive world where there isn't like the different kinds of levels of jobs that were available back in the day, you know, like low skilled work isn't there, and sometimes people just want to go to work and come home and take care of their family, right. And but not feel like they're being shafted, which is the issue at the moment. You can get your low skill work, but you're going to feel shafted because you're going to be working like an absolute dog. You're going to be stressed out, you're going to hate your job, and you're still not going to have enough money to eat at the end of the week.
Yeah,
that is criminal.
Yeah.
And so, and our whole media it seems to be geared to make us feel bad, so we buy more stuff that we don't need. And the social media and the comparison thing, it just all reinforces these negative feedback loops. And education and actually thinking about how people are feeling about themselves and what they want from life realistically, and making it achievable. Is important work which will make us like civilized people. That's how I see it anyway.
So what do you do about that? I mean, I'm not being argumentative. I think this shit too, and it's like, what the hell can you do about it?
It's a massive change in culture.
Very quickly.
Quickly. So that I mean, I don't know.
It all seems to have crept up on us.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
That's how I feel with it. It's just like, what the fuck, how did we get here?
Yeah.
You know, and considering that we're just animals that do actually run on, as you say, quite basic needs and demands. All we want to do is just this, and some people are quite happy going to work, coming home and just keeping a roof over their head.
But they don't need somebody on the internet or on the TV saying, "Oh, you got crap life. Oh, you're really, really boring. You want all this stuff. Oh, look at this life that you're not having." They don't need that.
No,
and it's untrue, and it's untrue as well, because they're living, good lives. They're good parents. They're working hard for their family. They enjoy going and hanging out with their mates, whenever they do. They're hanging out with their family. Yeah. They're having a fulfilling life. It's the TV that's telling them that they're not.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
One of the saddest things I think I've ever seen. No, that's what a bullshit statement. Of course it fucking ain't. One of the saddest things that I've seen in the last couple of years is, how there's this bullshit that celebrities, this sort of fantasy they collude in with the public, whereby they don't want to be paparazzied and that shit, when in actual fact it's all part of it and a publicist does it. Well, one of the things I saw a couple of years ago was that people can go out on a Saturday night, get picked up in a limo, go to some fucking club, right, all dolled up, and pay for the whole service. So they'll work a month to pay for this service. A limo will pick them up, take them out, and they can be papped. And it's all been paid for by themselves. And I can't think what it's called, right? It's called like celebrity.me. And I've seen it popping up on Facebook, people's putting all these photos of themselves out, and you're like, oh no, my God, please do not fabricate this shit for yourself. Wow. Can you imagine what Monday morning is like? And the clubs that they do it in Liverpool, there's just some spotty lad in the corner, like, with a Bacardi Breezer, staring at the girl's arse just like that. There's no one else in the club. and they're all posing as if they're fucking
like in some LA. That is wow.
God. But it makes you die inside because you just think about what's Monday like when you're back at the fucking biscuit factory and you're like, what'd you do at the weekend? You not see me pictures on Facebook? Yeah, there was shit. Okay. Oh fuck.
That's harsh.
That's like a disease, isn't it? It's like the manifestation of some disease. It's just so upsetting.
It is upsetting.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I don't really since terrestrial TV kind of like stopped, I haven't really had normal television. So I only see it when I go and see my family or around somebody's house. So I don't consume it. But when I go, because I have a normal job where I'm a science technician.
Oh, you kept that bloody quiet.
Yeah.
So you did complete the degree then?
No, I left after the second year and they gave me a diploma of higher education because they felt sorry for me.
I highly doubt that. I'm sure you earned it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have this science technician job, which I absolutely love. I love education and I love science.
Yeah.
And why was I telling you this?
We were talking about people's lives in television and you ain't watched.
So CSI Jane at work, she used to be a CSI and now she works as a science technician now. Right. She loves all this like Sex on the Beach or whatever it's called.
Love Island.
Sex on the Beach.
God, it's so depressing.
But she tells me all about it and I like listening to it via her.
Yeah.
But I'd never watch it myself and it's interesting to hear, but it sounds absolutely vile.
I've never seen it, but there was a British sci-fi writer called Nigel Neal, right? He wrote Quatermass and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So Nigel Neal in the 60s did this, it was a 3-part Play for Today thing, I think I'm right in saying, called The Year of the Sex Olympics, which essentially predicted all this. It was reality television, it was Big Brother, it was all this stuff. Starred Leonard Rossiter, believe it or not. You know, Miss Jones rising down. Worst Leonard Rossiter impression ever, but it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? And last Monday, it was 50 years to the day since the last episode was broadcast, and by a startling coincidence the finale to Love Island went out and exactly the same time. I mean, Nigel Neal was writing about this stuff 50 years ago and it was in the zeitgeist. People knew what was going to go on. Monty Python do a sketch about, you know, people just sat watching the M1 or whatever, traffic going on there, and we do.
Yeah.
I mean, there is some side of us that, because the biggest growth area now in computer games is computer games doing jobs, believe it or not, serving ice creams and working in a cafe and working on a farm. So there's this basic human need to work. There's definite.
Yeah. But
we're also predisposed to being lazy motherfuckers. Yeah. So we like to sit around and just press a button and a little avatar of you will do the work.
Yeah.
But it all seems to have happened so fucking quickly.
Yeah, especially if you haven't like engaged with the whole computer games thing.
Oh, Sonic the Hedgehog, I think, was the last thing I played.
I think I can't remember the last thing. Oh, Actual Golf 2.
What on earth is Actual Golf 2?
It was on PlayStation 1.
Okay.
Or PlayStation.
Right. Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
And it was just a golfing game, and it had like a really delicate kind of commentary in the background, and you just hit this ball by pressing some buttons on this thingy. It
reminds me of when Bart Simpson gets caught nicking, what is it, Bone Storm or something? You're a computer gamer and a Simpsons nerd. He gets caught nicking Bone Storm 3 out the mall or something like that, and so he has to do this community service thing for nicking out of the shop. And it's like Marge is like, oh, you know, I'll buy you, and she buys him some golf game, you know, as a sort of a salve because he can't have the Bone Storm game. And it goes off and it's like that. He's just punting and the credits are rolling. He punts the ball a couple of times and it's like that. Would you like to play a game? You have chosen no. And that's all I fucking remember with golf games. I remember when I was a kid there was some game where you put a little silver club in the guy and there was a thing on the back and the club would swing, but games have never really floated my boat, to be honest. I used to like Kaplunk.
Oh, yeah, that's a great game.
And there was one called Frustration with a sort of a plastic dome in the middle. You pressed.
It's like Ludo.
Yeah. That was great.
Yeah, it was great. Just pressing the thing down was really good.
But again, that was communal. You know, it had 4 sides to it.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, do you find that people are still willing to come out to gigs? Because everyone I know, and me included, is just noticing people can't even be asked. They'll go and pay, Jesus man, it was like 125 quid, the cheapest ticket to go and see the Rolling Stones. Well, whoever's left of them, you know, the other week. But people won't go to a free show.
Not as much as they used to. Our Monday, we play on Lark Lane on a Monday night, and we seem to have. It's lovely. We've got a regular crowd there, but it can be hit and miss some nights. Marboyles can be hit and miss, but there are people that are starting to come back. There's people that want to, but can't. There is a definite demographic of like between 30 and about 45, 50. 45, I'd say.
Middle youth, they call that.
They don't come because they've got kids. That I understand.
Right, yeah.
They want to be good parents, fair enough.
Yeah.
But the younger ones, there are a few that come to it, but they tend to be like music students and stuff.
Right.
And then there's older ones that are kind of retired that come along to it. But we do have a mix of people because we get asked to play like weddings and things, you know, where they've seen us in the pub. Cool. Or they may only go out like a few times a year or maybe like once a month or something. Right. It's definitely not like you go out every weekend.
So do you think that part of what you're doing and also because there's not just yourself doing this, there is quite a sort of trad jazz thing going on in that upper part of Liverpool. Do you think there is a desire there to return to some time of normality, for want of a better word, before we had Love Island, before we used to pay for a limo to pick us up? And
go out and actually talk to a person.
It's more a pure form of entertainment as well.
Have an experience. Yeah, I think there is. I think there is. I think some people are scared of town. Like once they stop coming into town, they can be a little bit apprehensive because they might think it's rough or whatever. So they don't come for that reason, or they live very far away, and coming back is a massive expense, maybe more than actually how much they're going to spend on drinks or you know. Yeah. But I don't know what it is that like there's different scenes as well. What we play is trad live music scene. All the jazzers seem to go to, you know, the people that go to our jazz seem to go to like the bebop jazz, or you'll see a few faces there, and they'll go to say the Latin jazz and the grapes on it. You know, they'll go to live music. And when I go out, when I'm not playing, I want to go and see live music. Or I want to be in a pub with no TVs.
The Grapes is good. For one on Roscoe Street.
Yeah.
Oh, fucking love it.
It's brilliant. Roscoe Head's amazing as well.
Yeah.
The one on the corner.
Yeah, all those, that whole area I love.
Yeah.
And I used to love the Pilgrim.
Yeah.
But there's something special about that Grapes place. It's just got such a good vibe to it. I went in there last week and it was like, it's all been refitted since I was last in.
Yeah.
But it's just kept the essence of it, you know. So that is a fantastic venue. I can't see a place like that ever being stuck for clientele.
No way. Everybody goes there. I go there. If you want to go for a drink, you go. I'll go to the Grapes or the Caledonia.
Yeah. The Belvedere used to do stuff, didn't they?
Yeah. If I want to have a conversation with somebody, I go to the Belvedere.
Yeah. They do a lot of gin in there, as I recall.
Yeah, really amazing things with like loads of fruit salad in it.
Yeah, amazing things with booze. So Thursdays in Marboyles. Yeah. What, Monday in the Lodge, is it?
Yeah, on Lark Lane.
Yeah. And so the recording's going on later this year?
This recording?
No, not this. This will be out next week. And the recording of the Commoneers stuff.
Yeah, later next year. And my immediate thing is I'll be recording Duke Ellington Club, so I can get us some. I'd really, really like to play some jazz festivals with that next year.
Right, well, thanks for coming in.
Oh, do you know what, Mike? Thanks for asking me. I've had a lovely time. I didn't know what to expect.
Do come in again.
Oh, I will.
Hope to see you again.
I've got loads to say.
You can carry on if you want.
No, it's all right.
Thanks, Parabhen.
Thank
see
you
soon.
Thank
Cheers.
You.
Bye. Bye.